Off. Okay, so we're starting now. Hello! Hi, everyone! All right, we are live. All right, so I'm sorry about technical difficulties. We're having some audio issues, but all of that is good. We're going to start getting some viewers in a few seconds, and I'll wait until we get some people to join that we can start taking questions and start getting into everything. I'm going to quickly share on Twitter that we are live, and then we can get started. Okay, we have one person watching, so give us 3 seconds. So hello, viewer. I'm going to go.
See who joined and who didn't, like, is it in the chats, group chat thing, or?
Yeah, oh, I'm going to open the chat on here, too, and then 1 second.
Waiting for your tweet so I can retweet it.
Okay, 1 second.
I'm going to put every social media I know.
Okay. Oh, there should be. Do you guys have a little chat button on the side of yours, or?
Yeah, mine says it's like a blue kind of thing, like it looks like the Google Docs thing, and it says
Okay.
chat.
So that's our chat, but that's weird. There should be one for just a regular chat. Okay, so then I'm going to use the live chat through. Nope, that's not what I want.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna do. I was gonna do that too.
Use the chat through here. Okay. Hello, people watching. Oh my gosh, for someone said it's midnight for them. You should be asleep. Thank you so much for watching us, though.
Oh my god. Hello.
Hello.
Hello to all of you joining from all over the place. I'm going to quickly share this link, and then we're going to. Okay. There we go. There's the share button.
Let's hear. I'm gonna close our chat and somehow open up this other chat.
Yay.
Okay. I need to type faster.
Hello everyone, but sorry for being so unorganized right now because we had some technical difficulties, so we're kind of all over the place. But it's gonna be a fun live.
Ooh, gosh.
Two questions already.
Let's
I was on Twitter with the hashtag.
go.
Yeah. All right. Sweet. Okay. So if we want to start, and then we can go and take some questions and introduce ourselves. So my name is Gabby, and this is my channel, Gabby YA Books. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh.
Next. If one of you guys wants to go next. Yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay. Hi, I'm Claire. My channel is Claire Loves Books.
Oh.
I haven't posted on there in a while, though, so you might not want to follow it. You can follow my Insta.
Yeah. And then, if you want to go ahead, Emily. No, did we lose her?
Oh, did we lose Emily? No, I see her.
No, I see her, but she's freaking out. Why are we experiencing all the technical difficulties?
Yeah.
Okay, I can hear.
Hello.
Oh no.
No! Why?
You're just like a icon now, Emily. We can't see you.
Yeah.
Try turning your camera on and off.
Yeah. Or try maybe exiting out and then coming back in if you need to. Okay, now she's gone. Is she gone? I don't know. All right, there she is.
Oh, there she is. There she is.
I think.
Oh, she was there for a second.
And now she's still frozen again. Okay. So, why? Okay. So now I'm trying to think okay. Right. Okay. So we have 2 of us here, and I don't want to delay things any longer. So until Emily gets back, do you want to just start taking questions, and then we can sort of go from there?
Sure.
Okay. So we have the first question, which is from Sarah Night Owl on Twitter, and it says, what is one of your favorite and least favorite diverse reads that you've read this year, and can you explain why you like them or dislike them? So I figured that would be a good way to start.
Okay, yeah, that's a great question. Do you want to start?
Sure. So, yeah, because I can think of definitely my favorite, and I actually have it with me because I wanted to show it off, and it's Queens of Geek by Jen Wilde. I read this book in, I think, like the middle-ish of the year, and I read it and absolutely loved it because there's so many different diverse elements within it, and it's been a book that I've been raving about on my channel for a while. Pretty much what it's about is we have two different main characters, and their names are Charlie and Taylor, and it's taking place at this convention, and so you have the whole representation of like geek and fandom, and then you have the whole representation of like different sexualities and different ethnicities, and also there's a little bit of mental health rep in there, and then there's also some feminism rep in there. So there's just so much that's crammed into one book, and it's relatively short, and I was really impressed by that because normally when you read diverse books, there's usually one focus.
Am I back?
Yeah, she's back. Awesome. Woo! Okay, so do you want to quickly introduce yourself and then your channel name?
Okay. Hi, I'm Emily. Twitter with this.
There we go.
Right, they're loading. This app cannot be. I just want. Okay. Okay.
We can see you.
Yeah, we can see you and hear you now. I think you're good. So just don't.
Okay. Gabby, don't freak out because you're the only one who hasn't had technical difficulties yet.
No, which is a miracle because considering I'm the one running this, usually all the bad things happen to me. So, right. So do you want to introduce yourself again? Because I think it was getting a little bit.
Should we jump into this?
Correctly.
Wait, me or you guys?
Yeah, Emily, if you want to introduce yourself and your channel again, because I think it was getting like a little bit fuzzy when you were doing that.
Okay. I'm Emily, and my channel is The Nerdiest Bookworm.
Okay, awesome. So we were diving in and discussing our favorite and least favorite diverse reads so far of the year. So I started with Queens of Geek by Jen Wilde, which is a book that just has lots of diversity and lots of different fronts. So that was one of the reasons why I really enjoyed it. As for my least favorite diverse book, I feel like I really didn't have one because I've been reading so many really great diverse books this year, and I've been picking up a lot of books that people have been recommending. So I've enjoyed everything so far. I don't really think I have a least favorite, but what about you guys?
So I don't think, I mean, for me, I've just been like, what I've been reading, like I usually never, like I can't really read during the school year because like college sucks.
Yeah.
But I think as far as this year, I don't think because I haven't read that much, at least so far. I think the most diverse book that I've read would probably be Shane Dawson's book, just because he talks a lot about how it was to come out as bi and like a lot of the stuff that like he experienced like in his childhood and all that. And so that was a really interesting read. That was also really funny. I think my favorite diverse read that like I've ever read though would probably have been a book that I read last summer, which was called Blacker the Berry. It's about it's about a girl. It was written in like the 1920s, I'm pretty sure. And it's just like about like interracial racism, and like it is heartbreaking, but also like it's really short, but it's also like very hard to read. Like it took me a couple days to read, even though it's like only a little over 100 pages, because like it's just like very intense. Like the racism is very intense, but it's like very eye-opening about like all that stuff. Yeah, that's me.
Okay. For me, I'm gonna have to go with like History Is All You Left Me. Like Adam Silvera is me. He like the whole situation, the whole like plot line of the book. I'm not gonna say too much because I say too much, like I'm spoiling the whole book. But like
yeah, it's a good one.
It's a really good book. As for like least favorites, I know there's I haven't read this book because I don't know because I've heard.
Oh.
Did we lose her again?
No. Am I back here?
Okay. Yeah, you're good.
Okay. It's called Sad Perfect.
Are
I
you
think we
talking
talked about it.
Oh, Sad Perfect?
Sad Pretty.
Oh,
Sad
or
Perfect.
Sad Perfect. Yeah,
Sad
it
Perfect.
doesn't have,
Oh,
I've
yeah,
heard about
yeah.
that book and I wanted to read it. It looks really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I heard some things about it because, like, I have a lot of mental health issues, and, like, I heard that it wasn't really, like, it was very triggering to the person who read it, and, like, there's a lot of problems with it. And, like, because, like, this girl, she had ARFID, I believe it was. I think talking about there, right? Like, with the paper, like, and, like, very, like, not, like, it wasn't very really show how, I mean, it could have been shown as, like, the way a person had this disease, but, like, the way they treated the people with bulimia as well as anorexia, like, they were the mean girls in the story, and, like, it's just...
Yeah.
That's the one. That's the one with, like, the safety pin on the cover. Right?
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've heard a lot of stuff about that.
Right, so we have another question that comes from Twitter, and then we can get into discussing some other things. And this is also from Sarah Night Owl, and that's, which type of diversity topics would you like to see implemented in books, like, more frequently? For me, I would like to see more, and the book that I really enjoyed that had this that I want to see more of is A List of Cages, and pretty much that book has a lot of deals with a lot of domestic violence and dealing with, like, family different situations, things like that, because I feel like you don't really see it a lot because it's a hard thing to portray in a book because you need to sort of portray it correctly, and it's a really important thing because so many people go through it, and it's something that's difficult to speak out about, especially if it's, like, your own parent, or you're being, like, whether it be, like, mentally abused or being verbally abused or, like, physically abused, all of those types of things. I feel like you don't really see a lot because it can be a very tricky thing to cover, because depending on how you read it, it can be a little bit controversial. But I read A List of Cages, and I really, really enjoyed that book because I think it did such a fantastic job of covering that topic and of being something that was a good representation of that. So I want to see more of that in diverse books because I think it's something that a lot of people could really read and relate to and be able to get comfort out of if they've gone through things like that.
I'm butting in real quick, but I had this I do this thing called Sidekick. This is horrible echo, but we have this question box. The questions was how, like, if violence or verbal violence, like, these books can really help children, like, whether it be teenager or adult or whatever, it can help them, like, speak up and have a voice.
Yeah.
Right. I think for me, what I would want to see the most, which, I mean, there probably is a lot of it out there. I just haven't, like, seen it, and or it hasn't been, like, super popular on BookTube. But is, like, more people of, like, mixed race or, like, mixed ethnicity.
Yeah.
Showing that kind of, like, struggle, because I think I've read some stuff, like, obviously, like, through classes and stuff that have, like, dealt with that, but I don't think I've ever, like, seen any, like, YA or, like, any, like, popular books that have dealt with that. So
and if they do, it may not be as, like, glaringly obvious. Like, I feel like they don't, like, state, like, the character is biracial or mixed racial. Yeah. It needs to be, like, more
either that or, like, it's not the main focus of the book.
Yeah.
Okay. So then one last question, and then we can get into some of the discussion and things that we had planned. And this one's also from Sarah Night Owl, so thank you so much for asking so many wonderful questions. What is a diverse book character you think you can relate to the most?
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
That's hard. I feel like, for me, one that I've thought of relatively recently and one that came to mind just because I love this book so much and I just talked about it a few minutes ago, but I absolutely love raving about it. Taylor from Queens of Geek. She is a little bit more introverted and she goes through anxiety, and she also has a little bit of, there's positive body representation there because she's a little bit overweight, and she basically goes and enters this competition to cosplay as a character from one of her favorite authors' books, and she's going and doing something like that. And like the whole convention space, I feel like I can really relate to her in that way. And I love the relationship that she has with one of the other characters, Jamie. It just like the two of them are absolutely wonderful together. And I feel like I can really relate to her as a character because I feel like I find a lot of like my similarities in being like really nerdy and really geeky and having a lot of that anxiety and sort of more like closed-mindedness in her and getting like really freaked out by big crowds. Because I was at BookCon this year and I was fine last year, but like this year there were so many people and it was just like this major holy crap moment. And so I really understood what it was like to be in her shoes going through like something like that, even though it's a really wonderful thing, like the anxiety you can get from it. So
yeah. For me, okay, like when I think of like diverse book characters, especially for me, I think about like people with mental health issues, example like anxiety and depression. So the first person that came to mind for me is, although
did we hear about yeah. Do you want to go on, Claire, and see until she comes back?
Yeah. So like I can't think of any like specific book characters that I've maybe read that were like super diverse that like I related to on that level. Like I said, like the whole like mixed ethnicity thing, like I'm still trying to find a book character like that I can relate to. I think for me, this isn't a book, but it counts in my opinion. Like I know that you did a review on Dear Evan Hansen, but Evan Hansen,
yeah,
like I have never related to a fictional character more.
Yes,
like that play, like
oh my god, yes,
fundamentally changed me. It's like
yeah.
insane. Yeah.
I love it so much. He's just such a wonderful character because I feel like there's so many parts of him that are so relatable, and something like Broadway, you don't really see that a lot, and I think it's a great way to reach out to that teen audience and be able to get more people involved, and parents as well, because
honestly,
they have like that representation in there too, so I really appreciated that.
Yeah. No, but yeah, he's probably like the one that I've she was gonna say Kat from Fangirl.
She just lost her internet connection, so she's gonna probably rejoin us again in a few minutes. I'm sorry for all the technical difficulties, everyone. Hopefully this will go better as we get further on into the stream, and thank you all for watching and being super patient. But yeah, Kat from Fangirl is a good one. I feel like a lot of people can really relate to her because having like the whole anxiety thing. I was gonna say Cure too, but then like reading Taylor Queens of Geek, I found a little bit more from her. But yeah, right.
Yeah.
All right. So if we're gonna
she has a couple other questions.
Yeah, we can answer some of those, and then from there we can maybe discuss some other things. Right. Okay, I'm waiting for the questions to load. Okay, so what's your favorite relationship in a diverse book? And it doesn't have to be romantic. Huh.
Ooh.
For me, I think ones that come to mind, anything Adam Silvera, like all of the characters he writes, I think are wonderful because I feel like all their relationships are very genuine, and I feel like they're very real, and they're just like they're written really well. And then also another one that comes to mind, and this is just like my favorite ship of all time, and I have to include it, of course, Magnus and Alec from the Mortal Instruments series by Cassandra Clare, because I love that series so much, and I feel like the two of those characters are so wonderful, and there's always so much controversy around them because Cassandra Clare herself isn't a like lesbian, or she isn't like technically within that demographic, and so she's writing about these characters, and so people sometimes get upset, and I know there's like lots of things with the show too, and
yeah.
Kind of. Yeah, you're back. Okay. I hope that. All right, we're talking about some of our favorite relationships in diverse books, and they don't have to be romantic, but just ones that come to mind, like friendships, things like that.
Oh my god. What do you guys think?
I'm trying to think. I feel like all my favorite, at least romantic relationships, are not in diverse books.
First.
Yeah. Problem.
But that's why we're doing this, so it's a good thing.
I
mean, I don't know if this counts. Have y'all read Saga?
Oh, I've heard of it. Yeah.
Familiar.
like I feel like for especially like a space opera comic series, it shows like a lot of diversity, and I would say definitely like the two main characters in that series, they are goals, but also the friendship between their daughter Hazel, and just like almost like honestly anybody she meets, but like it's just like so cute. So cute.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's the first thing that's popping in my mind. So, yeah.
Right.
For me, the first thing that pops in mind, I haven't read this book, but like I've been dying to.
I've been wanting to read that.
I want to read that too.
I'm going to Barnes & Noble later on, I think this week or like sometime this month, and I'm going to be picking that up because I've been dying to read it.
Yeah, and I've heard like the relationship in it is like beautiful, and like I know that like Indian parents are like always very like if they're traditional, they're very strict about who you must marry, and like how this girl wants her parents want her to marry this guy, and hilarious and super fun and super diverse.
Yeah, so I'm excited for that. Right. So we have some discussion topics and things that we wanted to get into, so we'll discuss that, and then we'll be looking back at the Q&A, just kind of going back and forth and sort of seeing if you guys have any more questions. So talking about how to improve diversity, I think is a good thing to discuss, because it can be relatively difficult to find diverse books, or like reading them, you feel like you don't have enough people reading them. So how would you guys think would be a good way to promote that, or to make people more encouraged to read diverse books?
Can I take this real quick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So own voices author novels. Like I think that's the best way. Like we can get some good diverse books out. Like if like say I wrote a book about a lesbian black character, it wouldn't be a good solid diverse book because I'm a white cis female. And like if we have more own voices novels, I feel like a lot of the books will be promoted more and like more widely read, and that's how we can get those out.
Yeah. Because I think own voices novels are really great because you're able to have like that author experience behind it. But I think it's also really great for authors who may not be entirely diverse to be able to reach out of their comfort zones and write about things that they may not entirely experience. So I think it'd also be great maybe to encourage more people to read from authors that may not entirely fit into the diverse category they're writing about, because, I mean, you don't really know like the type of writing. I just think that if you're getting people maybe like promoting it more, talking about it more on BookTube, whether it be like own voices.
Yeah, as long as the authors do good research and stuff. I think also just like with like all the diverse books that like BookTube and like just like the book social media universe has been like promoting recently, I think that honestly is going to be the best way to like promote these kinds of books. But yeah, no, I totally agree. Like own voices, and like even if an author isn't own voices, as long as they do the research and nothing is like harmful, because like I feel like if an author does not identify with that specific diverse group, like they're gonna get attacked no matter what. But I feel like just like as long as they do the research and they have like, and they're like representing like a story that is valid to somebody, like people are gonna relate to it, and it's gonna like it's going to be like a better story.
Yeah. I think another really great thing that I saw is I watched a YouTube video this morning, but I've been meaning to watch it for a while just because I've been relatively busy. I haven't been able to watch all of the videos that have come into my inbox. But for those of you who know Tyler Oakley, he's like one of the bigger Pride YouTubers. Yeah. He was at VidCon, and he did this really awesome thing where he had a booth set up and he had people come in and talk about their stories and things that they were going through, like talking about maybe coming out or just being a supporter of people in the community. And he came in and surprised them, and it was like the most beautiful thing ever. I like smiled so big watching it, and my heart grew like 10 sizes because it was just the most wonderful, heartwarming thing to watch, because the reactions on everyone's faces were just so genuine and so real. And I always love watching things like that, but seeing it in such a positive way, especially with something like this, that is something that a lot of people can get very angry about and be very bitter about and resentful about, just for like whatever reason. It's nice to see that, and I feel like a really great way to get people to read more diversely is just to be really supportive of those types of books and of people like in the community, and seeing other YouTubers, you know, going and doing that, promoting it more, just being like supportive and being like a shoulder there for people to talk to and feel like they can come to is a really big thing. And I think that it shouldn't be something that's so difficult to just be supportive of somebody and be able to just like be there. So I loved watching that video, and if I find the link for it, I'll put it down below after I finish with the stream, because you guys should go and watch that. It's a really, really wonderful video.
Yeah, Tyler Oakley is everything.
I love watching his videos. He's just...
So what should we go on to next? I think one thing I really want to talk about is trigger warnings.
Oh yeah, that's a good thing.
Okay, so have you guys watched 13 Reasons Why?
Yeah, I've watched it.
I haven't watched it, or I've been meaning to read the book before I watched the show.
Yeah, I literally went and read the book, and then like 2 seconds later went and watched the show. About like a month after it came out.
Super intense though. One of my roommates was
I've been meaning to read it for a few years, and then
her watching.
Yeah.
Thing with the show I'm so thankful for is I think they had trigger warnings on some of the very intense episodes. I kind of think they should have had trigger warnings on every single episode, but they did include some trigger warnings, which I'm thankful for. But for the authors, some people, the different people have different triggers, and especially if like it's extremely harmful, like before any diverse, not necessarily any diverse book, but like before a bunch of books, there should be a trigger warning, like, hey, this book may hurt you in some sort of way, and may make you complex yourself. Like authors, please like put those out there, because I'm thankful I haven't ran into any triggers for like what my mental health, but others have, and like this is a big issue, and like trigger warning.
And I think a great way to do that would just be like, and it's not even that difficult to just maybe put like the trigger warning like in bold text, like on the front flap of the book. So like if you have a hardcover, like that's a paperback, that's not helpful at all. But if you have like a hardcover, I just picked up City of Heavenly Fire because it was the closest book to me, but like right on the front flap, you can just have something like right there. Then it's not that difficult, because then from that you're able to just really easily see opening of the book, looking at the description, and you're just able to get that information. I think that'd be relatively smart, and it would help a lot of people. And then, you know, with that, you'd be able to sort of put out there right away exactly what diverse topics you're expecting from the book. So maybe it could help people figure out types of diverse books, things that they may want to read from.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and then it also, like Emily was saying, it would lessen the amount of people who do end up like going into these books thinking that the summary or the synopsis sounds really great. And then they get in it, and there's something that wasn't mentioned. And then
because there are a lot of synopsises that I feel like always end up getting like butchered in a way, or where like the way that it's written spoils something that comes later, and there's like lots of problems with that. So I feel like trigger warnings on books would be a really good thing, because synopsises can't always be reliable.
Yeah,
I agree with that. Good topic.
Yeah.
Okay, what else do we have on our list? How about like let's talk about booktubers. How like what are some good diverse booktubers and like how booktubers can promote the diverse books. There we go.
Yeah. So.
What?
Okay. So maybe talking about some diverse YouTubers, like ones that you may watch that you would recommend, or to encourage diversity in the booktube community, like maybe get more people.
First person comes to mind is Emma Books from Emma Books, and she suffered from like So I love her so much.
I have so much respect for her. Yeah, because I mean that's the thing, is that just diversity isn't necessarily just skin color. It can be other things like dealing with mental illness or dealing with body size, things like that. So I think it's a good thing to keep in mind too, because it isn't just physical appearance; it's the things that go on inside of you too.
Yeah.
So Emma's a great one.
Emma's great. I think I have a couple. So I mean, for one, he's diverse in the fact that he's an older person on BookTube, but also just like diverse in his sexuality. Is Peter Likes Books.
I've
heard of him.
Love him. Also, Books and Big Hair. She's great, and she she's awesome. And then I follow a bunch of booktubers who who are Spanish booktubers, whether like from Spain or like Colombia or Mexico. They are all fantastic.
Yeah.
So,
I'm looking. I take Spanish, so I've actually been watching some Spanish booktubers because I want to sort of see if I can understand some of the things they're saying, and I think it's really helpful because if they're talking about books that I know, I'm able to catch bits and pieces of things. So I recently subscribed to, because she was at BookCon, Clau. She has a channel. I forgot what it is because I just recently found out about her, but I started watching her a little bit. Christina Marie, I know, is another one that a lot of people watch. And
yeah, there's also Nube de Palabras. She's great. And then there's also Juliana Zapata and Javier Huescas. They're also really great.
Yeah. Talking about booktubers, another one that I have that comes to mind on the LGBTQ plus spectrum, Tiernan from the Booktuber. He's from Chicago, so I've talked to him a few times, and we kind of talk. I'd have to, of course, recommend him because he's the absolute sweetest, and he maybe taking a little bit of a hiatus with his channel, so I'm not sure how active he is on there, but definitely he tweets and things like that. But he's still, some of his videos are worth watching because they're fantastic.
Yeah, honestly.
Trying to I forget her name, but she's she's so amazing. I completely forget what her YouTube channel is. But if I can find it, I'm looking through my subscriptions. But she has an amazing channel, an amazing personality. She doesn't have the biggest subscriber count, but everybody, if I find the channel, everybody should follow her. But she's.
Is it the Hufflepuffle? I know that she's one that's a little bit smaller, but.
I possibly if I saw a picture of her, I would be able to place it. Now I'm literally gonna go through all my
That's what I've been doing. So I'm looking through and trying to see, is there people that I would recommend looking through mine. But yeah, I think that, there is a lot of diverse booktubers out there. We may not entirely notice them right away because we may look at their physical appearance and may sort of see oh, they're white, or they may be straight, things like that. But if you talk about mental illness and talking about sexuality just because you're white, you can fit in to more than one spectrum. So I think you just have to be able to find them. But I would love for more diverse booktubers to join the community and be open to talking about diverse books, encouraging more, because I think that it would really help, for...
I found her. Oh my God. Her name's Christina Marie.
I messaged her. I've watched some of her videos. Yeah, I think I mentioned her a few seconds ago. But yeah, I love some of her videos.
Also, it's good to keep in mind for booktubers, just because even if they look typically white, ethnically, they might be very diverse.
Yeah.
Emma,
I am pale as snow, but I am also half Dominican. So you just, I think also keep that in mind, because there are a lot of people who might be able to pass as white, but maybe mixed race or mixed ethnicities.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind. Listen to what they're saying.
Yeah. Because I think that it's helpful to watch diverse booktubers, but I feel it's also really great to watch booktubers that are talking about diverse things, that are talking about diverse books, because you're getting, just as much as you would out of watching a diverse booktuber who maybe for some whatever reason doesn't talk about a lot of diverse books. So.
Yeah. And even if you might not be able to find a booktuber who maybe you because I know people can be very picky about the way the videos are filmed, or how people are in videos. There's a crap ton of diverse book blogs out there that are really awesome.
Yeah. So I think you just have to be able to be willing to go out there and be able to find them, and
yeah.
So that's a good thing.
They are out there. You just have to do the suggested page, and you will find them.
Yeah. Just look.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Trying to see. So do you guys have any more questions? We can dive back into some of those, and then maybe.
Yeah.
We can start discussing, figure out some more things we want to discuss.
Mhm.
and we can kind of branch out and from some topics from there. So if you want to tweet in questions, you can use the hashtag YADiversityLive, and we'll answer them there. And you can tag my Twitter handle, which is Gabby Y Books, the same thing as my YouTube channel, and we'll take questions there, and we can talk about.
I have one question from Sarah Night Owl that we didn't get to earlier. That
okay.
would probably be interesting. What's the one thing you hate in books that authors keep doing? Any annoying stereotypes, cliche characters, etc.?
Ooh, okay, that's good.
I have one. This like may not necessarily be, even though it kind of is like has to do with diversity, but like not really at the same time. It's just like something like I always see with like two white cis partners, like the guy acts like, oh, I don't love you, I can't be with you, and the girl's like, oh well, I still love you, and the guy's like, but I love
Bella and Edward.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's so annoying. I'm like, guys, okay, like with the, I know in diverse books, like skin color wise and like gay relationships are like they're like admit their feelings, and like the two white cis like partners like don't like to admit their feelings.
Right.
Well, yeah. Like, I mean, just like that. Just I never realized. So like, I like really loved Twilight when I was like in middle school, and then I watched the movies,
as most people did.
And I realized how crap it was. But honestly, like it's that. Like he's like, I literally will kill you, and she's like, that's okay. Like,
yeah, it's fine.
Like,
yeah, it's
just that in general, even on like a diversity standpoint of like not romanticizing like abusive relationships and that type of shit.
Yeah.
Like, no, that's super annoying.
I think kind of on a similar note, and I think that what you said actually really helped me think of this. I read an awesome diverse book at the beginning of this year called Fire and Stars. It was in the Owl Crate December box, so that's how I got it. But I think one of the things that I really love about that book that the author did is that we have our two main characters, Mara and Dana, who ultimately end up being your end game and end up being the couple that gets together at the end, which is fairly obvious. I mean, looking at the synopsis, it's not like that's a spoiler at all. But you have the fact that there's like this whole arranged marriage thing that comes into it, and so you have and Dana's then the person that she's supposed to have this arranged marriage with, who's like sort of like this third wheel. And a lot of authors typically in that situation would sort of villainize that character and try to make him look as evil and horrible as possible to sort of force you to want your two main characters together. And I know that happens in a lot of books where your third wheel is made less preferable for whatever reason, because maybe they do something bad or they're made out to be a horrible person, and so you then have to force those two characters together. And I like about that book is that all the characters are equally likable and villainizing a specific character because of the fact that they're not supposed to end up together. So I really liked Fire and Stars because it just did a really good job at avoiding that issue.
Yeah, I also I think I have two things. So like on the same realm of like relationships and romantic relationships, just like again the whole thing of like not romanticizing abusive relationships. Last year I read a book called Boss Man by V. Keelan, and it has the highest rating on Goodreads, but this book is absolute garbage. Like this guy legit stalks this girl at the end of this book, like stands outside her building and watches her through her window.
Oh my God,
that's the worst.
Feel safe. Like I don't know. But yeah, other than that, what I hate is because like obviously like we all love reading like diverse books and books about diverse characters, like that's why we're here. I hate it when it feels like whatever makes that character diverse, like whatever they identify as that would make that character diverse, they become like a caricature of that, or that becomes like it's not like they are this person who just happens to be X, Y, and Z. It's like that comes first, and then like who they are as a person comes second. Like I just want like well-developed characters who aren't like a caricature of the fact that they are one specific race or one specific sexuality. Like
that's something that becomes
I feel like I've also read a lot of that, and like that super annoys me.
Yeah.
What's your second thing? You said your two things.
Oh, those were my two things.
Okay.
Oh, okay. This may steer away from like I just want to talk about big book, like popular books with diversity. One I want to point out is the Mortal Instruments series, like the Shadowhunter Chronicles. The Mortal Instruments series, like we only had one bisexual character and one gay character, and now in Lady Midnight and like the Dark Artifices series,
okay, but not more representation. Not to spoil for anyone who hasn't read it. I don't want to spoil you at all.
We have a lot.
Yeah, you have a lot more representation.
Yes, which I love, and I love like just seeing that diversity. Like we're seeing more of the Shadowhunter.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, for Cassie as an author, I'm reading that, like I was completely taken aback by some of the information and things that you find out, because I wasn't expecting it at all, but I was really happy to read it because I feel like it was just so out of the box from what she did. And I think that in a way she would have surprised a lot of people, because I know that for her as an author, so many people give her crap. And this was something I was talking about a little bit earlier when I got into Magnus and Alec, because they're one of my favorite ships. Cassie's writing like a whole trilogy for them, and she's done, I mean, a lot for them. And I know that like with writing her first series that it's the first books that she's putting out there, and so she's having to adjust, but seeing how much she's improved, like with Lady Midnight and Lord of Shadows, that it's definitely, I feel like, not an issue anymore. And so I feel like there's really nothing left to complain
like
about there, because she's doing
with like Cassie's doing, like first she like started very little, but like now she's like including a bunch more, and like she's including that diversity. Big book series, like she's using her name to spread diversity, and like that's what we need more people to do.
Yeah, honestly, like, not gonna lie, I read City of Bones, and like because of the end of City of Bones, I the series just because like I just thought it was like a fake out, but because of like all the good things that I've been hearing about her later series and all the diversity that she includes,
it's
and like
worth reading.
How her writing has like improved. Like that's making me want to pick up her books and like
it's worth reading, because I read City of Bones in 8th grade, and then I finished City of Bones, and like getting that ending, I was like, no. But I mean, I knew because some of my friends had finished the series already, that sort of then what pushed me to like go on and read all of them. And then I just like, because I wanted to marathon through them, because I know that like with that being the first book, I mean, she ever released as an author, there's going to be difficulties, but then having all of that, and then the infernal devices and things like that, and then now like, even having all of her other books, like she's definitely improved a lot as an author.
Like Claire, even if you like just like skip over the Mortal Instruments series, like if you don't be majorly spoiled for
no, that's what I'm doing. I think I'm gonna start with the infernal devices, and then
Infernal Devices is good.
Yeah, Infernal Devices.
Because I remember I read City of Bones, and then the end pissed me off, and then so I went and I looked up all the Wikipedia summaries for it.
No.
And then I found out that like what pissed me off wasn't a thing. And so I tried again after it. I tried like just skipping until the book where that wasn't a thing anymore. And then but then even then I was just like, I can't. This is too weird.
Yeah.
And so, no.
I mean, I feel like also now for people wanting. Yeah, you should. I mean, because I've met Cassie twice, and she's the absolute sweetest, and she's one of my favorite authors of all time.
No, that's what I love. I
so
love
wonderful.
Watching interviews with her, and like honestly, like even though I didn't like the Mortal Instruments series, like Magnus and Alec were still my favorite characters.
Yeah, and that's why the show too, like watching the adaptation. Ooh, and that's a thing that we can discuss about adaptations of diverse books, like sometimes how maybe those can be problematic or not problematic, because like watching Shadowhunters, you have this diverse book, this diverse series. I mean, the Mortal Instruments series, like it's there in bits and pieces, especially with Magnus and Alec and their characters. But an adaptation like that, I'm really frustrated with so many things that are going on in that show, because it feels like there's so many things that just aren't done correctly. And do you think that in a way would discourage people from wanting to read a book like that, even though it is diverse, because the adaptations themselves are so god-awful?
Yeah, they are horrible. But, like, the thing was, like, you see, like, Clary and, like, Izzy with, like, their shirts off and, like, Jace with their shirts off, but then you don't see Malik, like, with these intimate moments. Like, we see, like, Alec dragging Magnus off to the bedroom. But I kind of like that they made Luke black. Because, like, they kind of
I like that.
Some sort of diversity. Like, I kind of wish he was a little older because, like, everybody seems around the same age, but, like,
yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Because I think that Isaiah is an actor. I liked him a little bit better than who they casted in the movie, and I think that he's doing a good job. But yeah, I also feel like some of the things like they're doing with the characters, like I just don't know where they're going. Like with Luke, he has this partner, and I have no idea what's going on with her. But I like the fact that her partner, that she's lesbian, so I'm like, good for the representation there. Like that made me happy.
Yes, that made me so happy too. But I'm so happy that like they made Izzy like Emerald, like she spoke Spanish because like you could clearly see her heritage. Like she was like Hispanic or Latina, and like I'm so glad they made her like allowed like let her speak in Spanish, and like I thought that was beautiful.
Yeah, I like that. But I also feel like sometimes there's aspects of it. I mean, it was more in the first season. I feel like it ruined that because then they were starting to sexualize her character a little bit, which I wasn't entirely happy with. But that was a lot of like the old writers and everything, and I think that's something that they're improving on and not seeing as many of those aspects. So I appreciate that. But another adaptation, I feel like that's really good. You have a diverse set of characters. I know one of the actors, I think Tommy Dorfman, who was casted, is a huge LGBTQ. He's a huge pride activist and does a lot of that, and I think that's great. And then having characters of different ethnicities and also dealing with like the whole mental illness there, I think that's a good no, although I know people have a lot of issues with it because it can be problematic at times, and I think there were changes that they made that weren't entirely good, but I think that if they continue on with the show with the second season, that they'll be able to fix a lot of those things, and hopefully they'll be able to have a good second season and be able to explore some more diverse topics, because I'm definitely excited to see what they have planned there.
Yeah.
This relates to like Shadowhunters, but I'm not going to say it out loud, but the person dealing with addiction, like I'm kind of glad they included that, like this person getting it over, because like addiction, I feel like isn't something that's also a diverse thing, because like addiction is a big problem and they really don't talk about it in books, and like in this show in Shadowhunters, as crap as it could be at times, I'm glad they included these things.
Yeah,
especially in fantasy series too.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Okay.
Molly
so Molly from Magical Molly, which thank you so much for joining, Molly. She asks, what's your favorite queer read or queer protagonist?
Ooh.
I feel like I need to think of one.
I need time to think. Let me go on my Goodreads.
I have one. Oh my god, I don't know his name though. From History's All You Left Me. What's the main character's name?
Is it?
What's his name? No, I'm not History's All You Left Me. More Happy Than Not. What's his name? Oh my god. Goodreads, where are you?
Isn't it Aaron? Isn't it Aaron Soto?
I think
that's the name of the main character. I'm almost positive because I remember reviewing him. Definitely, I would say he's one of mine.
He's one of my favorite queer LGBTQ. Oh, is that his? Okay, I'm not gonna say anything, but I love him. I loved him so much in the book. I just loved that book. It was heartbreaking and beautiful, and like it was a fantastic read.
Yeah, I read it like last year, like I think end of May maybe, and I absolutely fell in love with it. And then from there, I've been reading all of his books because he's just such awesome. I think he has such good representation.
Yeah, because like this book, it shows that LGBTQIA books can have like tragedy, and like that it can be good, and it was such an amazing book. Like I love Adam. He's an amazing person too, and he's super tall. I met him at BookCon.
Yeah, I got to meet Adam. I think I've met him twice when he was in the Chicago area, and he's just the absolute best. I know BookCon was crazy. I didn't get to see him. Another character, keep going back to Queens of Geek because it's a wonderful book. We have our main character, Charlie, and she's a vlogger, and she's bisexual, and I liked getting to see that from her because I feel like I really haven't read from a lot of bisexual characters, and I like the fact like she was just with her boyfriend, and then they broke up because it was like this huge thing, and then it ended up getting like publicized, and so then there's this other girl that's there, Alyssa, that ends up getting brought into the picture, and then it's like this whole big thing that happens while they're at this convention, and I just liked getting to see that because, again, the representation in this book is phenomenal, so I liked her character because being a vlogger, I can relate to that, and I liked getting to see like diversity in her character, and I also think that I'm not sure because it's been a little bit of a while since I've read the book, but I think that she has like some ethnicity. I think she may be like Asian. There's some mention of it in there, but I also liked that as well because there's just so much jam-packed into all the characters.
Yeah. For me, I think the first one that's coming to mind is I know this is like a very like controversial book for like some of the stuff, but I did really like how at least the main character was like gender non-binary, like they didn't have a gender, and that was Every Day by David Levithan. Because like the character, like you don't really know that much about the main character, but like this person switches bodies every day. So like you don't like they don't have a set gender because they've been both like men and women and all that stuff, and like there's also like no set sexuality either. Like the main character falls in love with a girl, but like just none of that is ever like put as any like super like it's not viewed as anything of like grave importance. It's just like this is who this main character is, like kind of like deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know there have been like other issues, but I think about that book. But like I think that like the way that David Levithan did that was like so interesting, and I've never read another book like it.
Yeah.
I'm like trying to find the book, but another character I thought was the main character from None of the Above. I forget her name, but this girl, she finds out that she's intersex, and like it's her like really questioning who she is, and like and her boyfriend breaks up with her because of this, and it's definitely a unique book. Although it's not an own voices novel, I thought it was very well researched because I'm pretty sure the author was a doctor, and it like the book, and like it was the type of diversity I've never really heard about or like read before. And so if the whoever's like watching this doesn't know, intersex is like a female body, but like you also have some guy parts. But it was definitely interesting.
Yeah.
Also, sorry, but
no, you're fine. Go ahead.
I know there's a lot of controversy about this, but I have Ramona Blue, and I've been dying to read it because this girl, she like is questioning her sexuality. She's like, oh, I've always identified as gay as my life, but then she meets this guy, and like she's like, oh, maybe I'm something else, and like I've been dying to read that.
Yeah.
I know it's a lot of controversy.
Yeah. Okay, so there's another question that I saw in the chat that I want to talk about, and then kind of like seeing that there's a little conversation going on in the chat that I want to continue on with. But Molly from Magical Molly keeps asking a wonderful question, so thank you so much, Molly. And she says, but with the current political climate, do you guys feel we need diverse books more now than ever? And my answer to that is hell freaking yes.
Yes.
Because
I mean, yeah.
People that are just so incredibly hateful for just like whatever reason. You don't need to be hateful. There's no rhyme or logic or reason for that at all. It's just unnecessary. I think that, you know, having and encouraging that is so important because there's so many people that are now feeling worried about those types of things and worried that their rights aren't going to be protected. And I feel like so many people make such a big deal out of it when they don't need to. It's not that difficult to just support somebody and just be a shoulder to lean on. And I think that having diverse books, diverse television shows, having things out there that people in that community can relate to and find part of themselves in is so important when you have people that are just really hateful of other people because they may be different than the way that they are when they look at themselves in the mirror. So I want to see that. And I know that then they started talking about Sense8, which is a diverse show. I haven't gotten to watching it yet, but I do want to watch it. I'm watching Friends right now, and I don't want to be binge watching 2 shows at once. But I know that once I finish, I'm going to probably start watching it because it just sounds really interesting. But and it was actually Molly who recommended it to me, so thank you so much, Molly, for that, because I'm going to be getting on it very soon. But they canceled that like right at the beginning of Pride Month, and then I know there's so much people that were pushing for it to be back, and now I think they're having like a 2-hour series finale, and I think that that's awesome that so many people, since they pushed, that they were able to get that show renewed or able to get it, you know, back on Netflix, because I think having shows like that are really important, because I know that that's also like a fantasy that has like a little bit of sci-fi aspects in it that's just like really out of the box. Shows like that I think are really important, and so I'm glad to see that there's a community pushing for that and that there's able to be something more, and hopefully if that finale does well, then they'll be able to see more from that show, because I think that it's great to have things like that. But I mean, I've kind of rambling. You guys, your thoughts?
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with all that. Emily, you can go.
Yeah. Oh, me? Okay. But I was just checking out their the rest of their chats, and I agree with everything you say, Gabby. Like, I approve of your rambling. But I saw they're talking about Disney princesses, and I'm like, in the chat they're talking about Disney princesses, and I'm like, yes, please give me more diverse Disney princesses.
Disney princesses. Moana is a huge one that comes to mind. I know that Molly has a tattoo of Moana on her arm, which is absolutely gorgeous. Like, I'm obsessed with it. That I love her as a character. I think that she's phenomenal, and I love that. And I want to see more of that. Like, I know Mulan, I think, is awesome because you have.
Mulan is the best princess that has ever been. I will fight anyone on it.
Yeah.
She is the queen of all queens.
And having Jasmine too a little bit, because you have like a little bit of the Arabian culture in there too.
Yeah.
I think that it's definitely something Disney's working on, because I think that Disney is a huge.
Yeah.
Like you saw in Beauty and the Beast, even though it was very, very short and it caused this whole big controversy, I'm still like a huge WTF about, because there's like one moment where we have two characters in that movie dancing together. Like, it's not like there's a kiss, there's like nothing there, and everyone's making a big deal out about that and is freaking out about that. There's no reason for that. Like, I applaud them for that.
One, I don't get why everybody was getting mad about that moment in particular, when there was like, that other character was literally like, when drag basically by like the dresser or whatever.
Yeah,
okay
that was
with it.
Beautiful.
And he was like feeling himself. Also, like, I don't get how everybody's mad when like LeFou has been gay this whole time.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, literally since the animated version in 1991. Like, he's been gay this entire time.
Yeah. And I feel like people just,
like,
yeah, and it just sort of, So, because that's the thing, is that there wasn't that much there, and that's the big thing I was wondering about. I haven't gotten the chance to pick up the DVD yet, although I wanted to so badly when it came out. I just didn't get to because I was in New York, and I didn't want to pre-order it because I didn't want it to come in the mail while I wasn't home. But I'm picking up the DVD soon. I want to rewatch it because I loved Beauty and the Beast. I loved the live action just because it was really good. But I wanted to see if there was like deleted scenes, or was there something more there, because I know there was like an uncut version that was being released in some countries that maybe had more scenes there that they didn't get to put in the movie because for whatever reason everyone was having a panic attack about it. But I would have liked to have seen that more. So I don't understand why everyone made such an issue out of that, because I think it was great that it was put into the movie. I mean, even slightly, but I wish that it hadn't been such a big a deal, because I would have liked to have seen more from that. I think that it would have been a nice touch to the story.
Yeah, it's cool. Also, just like going back to the whole like political climate diverse books thing. I mean, I said this in like the chat too, but I think that this whole political climate has like, it's created this like surge and this need for diverse content that we hadn't seen before, because like me and my roommates have talked about this a lot, but like just like kind of like wondering, like, because like now like Selena has like grown in popularity like so much, and it's because like people are reaching to that because they feel like their rights or their culture is being infringed on. Like, they are like reaching deeper into it and like almost like bringing it into the mainstream. And so I feel like that's where like as a way to resist everything that's happening. And so I think that that's amazing that like as like effect to this like crap that's going on. That like all these diverse books have been being published, because we are getting a lot more than we ever did. Yeah,
I feel like it's such a big thing because so many other booktubers are pushing it now, and we're all talking about it, and I think that that's a big thing. To encourage diversity, you need to just talk about it more, and I think with the current political climate, there's so many more people that are doing that and making that a topic of discussion, and then when you have that discussion, you put it out there, people have to confront it regardless of whether they're supportive of it or not, because it's an issue. It's a thing that we're all talking about, something that we're all acknowledging. And I think with that, publishing all of the diverse novels, getting more people to read them and having the entire community really discuss it, I think is a huge thing, because the more that you discuss it, the more that it's going to be prominent, and the more that you're going to be able to have issues, things like that worked out in the community, and the more that it'll be.
Of course.
Twitter.
Here's another question that Molly asked. Who are some Disney characters that you guys think might be on the LGBTQIA plus spectrum, even if it isn't canon?
Ooh.
We already mentioned this.
Elsa, like Elsa. I feel like
Elsa.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But anyway, but like real quick, back to the what we were just talking about. But I just saw a tweet on Twitter that was like, Trump hasn't said the word pride the whole Pride month.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing that.
But anyway, back to Disney characters and LGBTQIA+. Who else?
I'm trying to think.
I feel like Mulan could no, Shang. That's his name. Shang. The love interest.
Oh yeah. I feel like I'm
Shang
trying to
like bi. He could
Disney
be bi.
male character, and again, I will fight people on that.
Yeah.
Is so hot.
Yes, I agree. Like, I feel like he could be bi. Like he could be bi.
Shang is definitely bi.
Yeah.
Shang is definitely bi. I'm trying to think of who else.
I'm like thinking of side characters too. Sebastian.
Yeah. I'm thinking of side characters.
Like Flounder. Flounder's asexual. Fight me on that.
Yeah, I mean,
no, Flounder is definitely asexual.
But
because he's like perpetually a child, so like he just doesn't even think about it.
No.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think.
Who else.
Like, are we just talking about Disney? We're just talking about Disney princesses, right? Or like Disney characters in general. If like Disney characters in general,
Yeah, I think we can do Disney characters in general. If you have something else that comes to mind besides Disney princesses and those types of movies.
Yeah, Woody and Buzz from Toy Story.
I could ship that. Yeah. I could get down with that.
Or Woody in general, because he's supposed to be dating Little Bo Peep, but like we never see her.
Yeah.
Besides in like the first movie. Yeah.
Right.
I can see that. Definitely.
Trying to think. Oh my gosh. Yeah, but I mean, I feel like that's the great thing is that with Disney, I feel like they leave it so open that you can have like those types of discussions.
Star Wars is Disney now, so we could be like Anakin got hella mad in the prequels because of his repressed sexuality.
That's true.
Yes. Oh, like I want the new Star Wars movie.
He was just so in love with Obi-Wan.
Yes, please. But what are their names? I forget their name. The captain and not Rogue One, but the one with the Jedi. Oh my God, I forget their name. Ray with Ray.
Ray and Finn. Is that it?
What's the captain's name? I always ship Finn. No, I ship Ray, Finn,
and Poe Dameron.
Yeah, I ship the three of them. I want them in a polyamorous relationship. I ship the three of them. They're so cute.
I'm here for that. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I'm totally for that.
Okay. So do we want to talk about, and this is a thing that I know we wanted to discuss and I want to get into, and then we can maybe start talking about, or taking more questions, talking about problematic books. Okay. To enjoy them, talking about that, because I think that that's a really important thing, because I know that with problematic books, ones that come to mind, Carve the Mark was a huge issue this year.
I didn't even
Sarah J. Maas books. Sarah J. Maas books. I know people have had issues with.
I have a lot of feelings about that.
Yeah. So, okay. So for me, I feel like when I hear these types of things with problematic books, if anything, read them for myself and be able to understand what it is that the author is trying to write. Because I feel like a lot of times with problematic books, it's not always intentional, because I feel like an author doesn't want to go and trash a certain specific group of people unless they're very open about it. But I feel like lots of YA authors today are very progressive and they have no means or no intention to do anything like that. So me, I always try, like I went and I picked up Cover the Mark because I was going to one of Veronica Roth's signings because I wanted to meet her because I love the Divergent series as a kid. Shh. Sorry, my dog is in the background. I don't know if you guys can hear him. But anyway, where was I? Cover the Mark. Yeah, I went to Veronica Roth's tour stop and I met her, and so I had the book then because of that. And I know that because I was going to a signing like a month after the book was released, I already heard like all of the backlash that had come from that book and all of the issues with it, and I read it. And I understand how people may have had problems with it, but I personally enjoyed the book because I enjoyed Veronica Roth's writing style. I mean, I don't think it was as good as Divergent. I think there were still issues with it, but I think that you can still read problematic books and enjoy them as long as you acknowledge the fact that this book is problematic. There are aspects of it that are problematic, and acknowledge that. I think that you should still be able to read the book, still be able to enjoy it, because I don't think that authors do those things intentionally.
Yeah.
I think also like this is just like kind of like bringing it up, like not really changing the subject, because I have like a bunch of stuff to say about Sarah J. Maas as well.
Yeah. I have some stuff to talk about too, like.
But just like recently with all like the drama that's been going on around like all the Crooked Saints and like Maggie Stiefvater, like I've seen like all this like all these people bashing her when like I read a statement that she put out about it, and she was saying that like she knew she was gonna get hate for it, but she wants to put diverse stories out there so that more own voices authors can be heard. And like I really appreciated that, and like I didn't get to, I felt like people were totally misconstruing her words, because like they were saying that she was saying that because she grew up in like a very like Irish like cultural background, that like she understood what racism was like, and that's not what she was saying at all. Like she was saying that she knows how she would feel if somebody else was trying to write about her culture like that, which is why she knows that like some people might be offended because it might not be, they might feel like because she is white like she couldn't possibly get it. But like she was saying, like I'm trying to, and I'm writing about these things because I want there to be more diverse stuff.
Right. And I think the thing about like, that is that
her position of privilege and turning it into something good.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of times that with the fact that a lot of us in the booktube community, a lot of us may be white, or even authors in general may be white, doesn't mean that they don't experience those things maybe secondhand, where they could see somebody else who's really hateful and is really abusive towards people who are in the LGBTQIA plus community, or have like mental illness, or like see people who are abusive to people who fall into that diversity spectrum in any way, shape, or form, that doesn't, you know, like sort of, I feel like that goes with what you were saying with Maggie Stiefvater, that she could in a way say that like with her heritage in a way, maybe that's what she meant, is that she is able to see people who have been hateful in that way and exposing it.
She's able to sympathize, but like you don't know, like you can't write like authentically about a culture if you yourself are not a part of it. That's what she was trying to say.
Yeah.
Like that's what I got from it, at least.
Yeah, and I feel like that's the hard thing about with social media and the internet too, is that it makes it so hard to be able to sometimes enjoy diverse books, because books like this that can maybe have diverse aspects, a part of them can become so problematic because of certain things that may be triggering or may be misconstrued, that then with that, it's hard for the author to be able to, you know, communicate and be able to put those things out there without people, you know, getting upset. And then I think that, you know, it's the author's responsibility then to be able to acknowledge those things and be able to talk about them if they do become an issue. But you wanted to talk about Sarah J. Maas a little bit, talking about that.
So when the first, I don't know, like first 300 pages, it was like in chapter 3, there was a section. I don't think I brought it out. Let me get my book real quick. Hold on. I'm gonna see if I can find it. But like, it says something along the lines of these two people, like they were in each other's company in some like unholy way, and some people I feel like took that as like against asexuals and against like gays and stuff like that. But yeah, it's about incest, and I was like when I read the book, I was like, what are you talking about, guys? These people are like twins. I'm pretty sure they're talking about incest. So
because I haven't gotten a chance to pick up Aquar yet, just because I've been really busy and it's such a big book, and I've been in a little bit of a slump today. I haven't wanted to sit down and read something really, really big like that, but I do want to read it soon, because I have read A Court of Thorns and Roses and A Court of Mist and Fury. So I've heard about that, but I can't entirely speak for it until I read the book myself. So, but I know her books in general, people have said have been problematic with Throne of Glass, because the characters themselves are.
Yeah.
But she does have diversity in her books, like with sexuality. Like she has said, people's mates can be the same sex, and that there was a character, I'm not gonna say who, but like that person came out as bi, and like she has a lot of bisexual characters.
Yeah.
And like, I love Sarah J. Maas. I love her ACOTAR series. Throne of Glass I'm going through, but like I see how people can take that as offensive, but at the same time I'm like, she's kind of diverse.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you're trying, if the author's making an attempt, I feel like you have to at least acknowledge that in a way, because even if it's all the
I feel like because Sarah J. Maas is so popular, that like she doesn't deserve all of the hate that she gets, because like she does write fantastic books and like fantastic characters that you can get like like invested in emotionally. So I feel like she is trying, and like the fact that she's even attempting to put this stuff in her book shows that she's hearing the criticism and listening to it. I just feel like it's almost like one of those things where like anybody in like any form of like pop culture like becomes very famous, like people will want to tear them down. And like obviously by the changes that she's made in like Akawar and like stuff like that is like, and like even in the Throne of Glass series, that like she is hearing what like people are doing or like what people are saying, but like also these are pre-established series, so she's trying to change stuff, but she can't change too much without making it seem like shoehorned in and like completely like crazy out of nowhere.
Right.
And like I do think that like even though like Throne of Glass, for example, or like the ACOTAR series too, like for the most part they're like a jar of mayo, like everybody is white. I get it. Also like she does have some comments on like oppression and like racism, even if it's not as like overt as people might want. Like the whole in like ACOTAR, like the whole like thing between like lesser fairies and high fae, like
that thing.
And I feel like people don't notice that because it's between
that's
fae.
what I thought about that too. But real quick, I found the passage because I'm like that, but I don't know how to say their names, so I'm just gonna call them D&D. And with enough boredom that I was starting to wonder if the two of them perhaps preferred no one's company but each other's, and in whatever unholy capacity. Not a blink of interest towards the beauty who often made males and females stop to gape. Perhaps any sort of physical passion had long ago been drained away alongside their souls.
Yeah.
I kind of take that as incest, guys.
Yeah, no, that's what when I heard that people were saying that it was like ace-phobic or whatever, I was just like, but they were in an incestuous relationship.
Yeah, right?
Like, I was really confused about that too.
Yeah. I agree.
And I feel like
back to that, but like I saw that too. I was like, this is kind of like the world is today, like with the middle class and like racism and stuff like that. I was like, yeah.
So I think that
also, Molly also brought up like in ACOTAR the Fae and the humans also.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's interesting. I think that it gets more into that's more the first book that I feel like
the rest of the series.
Book. But definitely now that she mentions it,
Yeah.
And I think that's interesting. So I feel like authors make attempts. I feel like the big picture we're getting is that all the authors, I feel like a lot of authors in the YA community are making attempts, just a lot of times can become problematic or can be misconstrued. And people sometimes have to find things to complain about or may find things that they interpret differently. And I think, that's the great thing about being a reader is that we all read books differently. And so when we bring those issues up, we get to talk about things like this. So.
Yeah. And like for me, like I think the most important part for me when I'm reading any book is like how it makes me feel. If I have like an emotional reaction to it, like if I'm like freaking out at some exciting scene or whatever, because like ever since I read Harry Potter, that's what I've been like trying to find in books. And so like it just kind of sucks that like because like for Sarah J Maas, like she is one of my favorite authors because of that, because she can make me like do that and like feel those things. And so like it just kind of sucks when like I can see that she's trying, and I know that obviously like her heart isn't in a bad place. Like she's a white woman who lives in Pennsylvania. Like she doesn't have a lot of diversity in her life as it is. Like she is trying.
So you appreciate and make the attempt. Yeah, and I think that's the big thing is that you have to at least appreciate that it's there. And you acknowledge the problematic aspects. I think that's important because if you don't acknowledge it, you don't want to let people get away with that. But talking about it is a big thing.
Sometimes for me, it doesn't matter how how the author describes a character. I imagine them the way that I want.
I agree.
She describes Reese in a certain way, but to me, he looks like Maluma, but a little paler. Who's a Colombian singer, but it just
beautiful. I brings the pillows in. like a lot of people portray him with like fan art's like a lot of dark skin, and like you see like Azrael and Caston have like darker skin. Like Armor has armor. I don't know. I say Armin, but like Amarin. I don't know why, but
Amarin.
she has like
yeah. Don't worry.
she, like Farah and Queen. Oh my God.
Amaranth.
What's her name? No. What's her name? Blonde.
More.
There we go. More. Like.
Okay.
Portrayed as like skinned and like yeah.
So it's there. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Molly's asking for us to sort booktubers into Hogwarts houses. So we can try to do this. I mean, I'm not sure what. I mean, like I could think of some booktubers. I mean, I know everyone has like their things on Pottermore. Do you want to quickly say what our houses are?
Okay, yeah, that'd be, oh boy, just sure. Okay, do you want to go first, Clary?
Oh yeah. I am a Hufflepuff. All the way.
Yeah. Okay. Gabby, what about you?
For me, I am also Hufflepuff, but here's a quick story. I took the Pottermore test as I was reading Sorcerer's Stone for the first time last year in July for Booktubeathon. I went and I picked up the book because I got the first 3 books from one of my neighbors because they just had them and were like, here, take them. And so then I started reading them because I'd never read them before because my age and just like the fact that I never really got a chance to pick them up. And so I got sorted the first time and I got sorted into Hufflepuff and I was like, okay, fine. And then I went and I took it a second time because I went to take my Patronus test and then like it froze. So I was like, this isn't authentic, the answer that I got. And so I went and took it again. And so then I decided to create another account and retake it on Pottermore. And then I ended up getting sorted into Ravenclaw. So I'd say that I believe in hybrid houses because I feel like we're all more than just one thing. So I say that I'm Huffleclaw, although mainly if you see me and I'm wearing any Harry Potter merch, it's all Hufflepuff because that was what I was originally sorted into. So
yeah.
I do have some Ravenclaw.
I'm definitely a Hufflepuff with Ravenclaw tendencies.
Yeah, I like that. I forget where it's from, but like it shows your percentage of each house.
Yeah, I think that was Time Magazine that released that, but
yeah, but my house is Gryffindor, and like I question it every so often, and like at times I'm like, yes, this is my house, like I belong here, but other times I'm like, oh, maybe not. But I feel like I'm like a Hermione Granger, or like if Neville Longbottom and Hermione Granger had a child, I feel like
actually I see that. No, I can relate to that. All right. So now sorting the booktubers.
I wanted to be a Gryffindor,
Give us some booktubers.
I've like realized that like
I'm not. I'm just
the Pottermore quiz. I wanted to be Gryffindor so bad, but I read more about like Hufflepuff and like where their common rooms are, and I'm like, yeah, no, I'm definitely a Hufflepuff. I want to be in the kitchen for snacks every night.
I couldn't be a Hufflepuff because I'm horrible at finding things. Like I'll be like looking everywhere for half an hour and I can't find anything.
I feel like that's true, but
that was me. I was like, I lose things all the time, but then I was like, I'm also just like.
Yeah, I lose them.
People where it's like, don't fuck with me, like a honey badger, because honey badgers.
Yeah, true. So now sorting the booktubers. Okay. Emma from Emma Books. I know she says she's Slytherin, and I feel like I just agree with that.
Like, I kind of see Slytherin though, like more Slytherin than Gryffindor.
Yeah, because she's very ambitious, like things that.
Yeah, I can see that too.
I'm just thinking of big booktubers, but like Christine.
Pullman and his books. I think she's I'm just thinking of what their Hogwarts houses are because I don't want to sort them in the wrong house. I think she's Ravenclaw, and like I could see that being someone who like reads a lot and things like that.
I feel like all booktubers or like bookish people in general lean Ravenclaw a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like we all have Ravenclaw tendencies in some way, shape, or form because the bookshelf. So I mean, I could say that. Yeah, although, Molly just said Emma feels Ravenclaw to me, which I could see.
She's supposed to be Ravenclaw, but she feels very Gryffindor to me.
Wait, who did you say? Christina?
Yeah.
Christine,
okay. Jesse.
I think Jesse said he's Gryffindor, but I feel like he's Hufflepuff.
Yeah,
I see too much Hufflepuff. Yeah. I feel like he's just like watching his sketch videos and stuff. He just seems very like. I don't know, innocent, but I feel like he's Hufflepuff. Cat, I feel Cat from Catty-tastic. I'm just thinking again more big booktubers and Booksplosion.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe it's Slytherin a little bit because I feel like she's really ambitious, and the fact that she just kind of like doesn't.
I
don't know.
I kind of feel like Hufflepuff a little bit from her.
True, because also not giving a shit. I feel like she's very just like also like that. Yeah.
Okay, continue shorting. I'll be like.
I was thinking very Ravenclaw for her.
Yeah.
Also.
I'm trying to think. I'm looking through my sub box of booktubers.
Oh, Sasha.
From A Book Utopia. Ooh.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay, I'm
I
trying.
feel like she's Gryffindor all the way.
Yeah, I could see that. Okay. Who else? I'm trying to think. Bigger booktubers. There's Zoe from Read by Zoe.
Oh.
Watch her. I feel like she may be Ravenclaw or Hufflepuff. I don't know.
Yeah. I was gonna
Who are we
say
talking about?
Hufflepuff.
Zoe.
Wait, who are we talking
Zoe
about?
from Read by Zoe.
Oh yes, Hufflepuff and Ravenclaw.
All right.
I gotta close these blinds.
And like, who else? I'm trying to
There we
think.
go.
What's her name? Hannah from A Clockwork Reads. That's her name, right?
Ooh, yeah.
Oh yeah. Isn't she Slytherin?
She's like Gryffindor. I feel like she's Gryffindor. I don't know. I think she's Slytherin.
Yeah.
I think she might be
I could
Gryffindor, but I feel like she's very Slytherin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Trying to think of other people.
I think we did.
Yeah.
Think we're good
I
and got that.
I think we got all the big ones.
Yeah.
We can
For
do
now.
once we say our book and like. Hey, we have a book club, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, a quick announcement now since we're kind of slowing down a little bit.
Yeah.
We decided that since we all really enjoyed working together and we all really enjoyed like hanging out and things like that and getting really excited for this, we decided to help promote diversity a little bit more rather than just doing one live show, that we decided that we want to start a book club. We'll be picking out a diverse book to read, and then we'll be doing a live show where we'll talk about the book, answer questions, the good things like that.
Like,
and I think it'll be
so with the characters in Hogwarts houses, we can do that then.
yeah, so we can do that because I know a lot of people always enjoy watching that, so we can do that and just talk about the book. And I think it'll be a great way to promote diverse books because I feel like there's a lot of readathons and like book clubs that a lot of YouTubers have, but I feel like it's
Nothing
concentrated more on popular releases, that it'll be nice to read diverse books. And there'll be new releases, old releases, a little bit of a mix of both so that we're able to cover everything.
Yeah, for like updates and stuff. We have an Instagram. Gabby, you're gonna link it down once the live show is over.
Yeah,
but
it's called Diversity Readers, isn't it?
Yeah,
readers. Yeah,
and we'll all be posting periodically from there. Yeah, and
hopefully
talking about more announcements and updates from there in terms of like what books we'll be reading and when we'll be doing live shows, things like that, because it may not be an every month thing depending on how busy we all are and depending on what's going on.
Yeah,
but we will have two other people joining us for the live show who weren't able to join us tonight, and that is Tatum from Titles by Tatum, and then Amali from Little Blue Bookworm. And both of them wanted to join us tonight, but because of their schedules, they were busy. But they are linked down below. Everyone's channels will be participating in all of these live streams and things throughout the book club are all linked down below, so you can go and check them out. Yeah, Tatum's was her idea, and then
her idea, and then she
couldn't come. So I feel really bad, but hopefully, I mean, the next time that we have a live show when we discuss our first book, we'll have all of us here and we'll be able to discuss. So you'll be seeing more of us, which I'm excited about that because it'll be fun to read that. So if you guys have any suggestions and things, you can tweet at me, Gabby YA Books. You can also, once we start posting a little bit of diversity readers, leave suggestions there because we would love some good ideas. I mean, I think we have some ideas for the first few months and things of what we want to read. But
I think I have the book, so let's announce it, like for the July.
Sure, if you guys want to announce it. I don't have it because I need to buy it, but We're going to be reading.
Tosh Hart's Testology, and it's about this girl who becomes really internet famous, and she meets this guy online, and so she so she gets to meet him and like they like start dating, like, and then she finally gets to meet him in person, and she's like terrified of telling him that she's asexual, and it seems like a really interesting book, and the cover.
Oh,
Did Molly or Ellie? Oh God. Okay. Is she back? Yeah.
Tosh Hart's Tolstoy. That's what
is what we'll be reading for July, and then we'll have more updates as to when our live show is going to be and all of that other good stuff. But I'm excited. I haven't got a chance to pick the book up, but I'm going to Barnes & Noble very soon because there's some books that I've been wanting to pick up that I want to read. That's definitely one of them. So I'm excited to get to read that.
Right now.
Yeah. Where'd you take it?
That she just bought the ebook.
I just got the ebook.
Yeah.
So I'll be getting my physical copy soon. So I'm excited to read that. So please come and join with us, and we'll be posting more updates soon as to when we'll be reading that and
live shows and
as to when all of that will be going on. But I'm excited to get to read that, and I hope that you guys join us because it's a really good book. I've heard nothing but wonderful things about it, so I'm excited.
Yeah, same. I've heard it's great.
Great. So if you guys want to send in your final, maybe send in some last minute questions, and we can wrap it up with some like last minute discussion topics. Because we have about a half an hour left, and I think with things starting to slow down a little bit, maybe we can end it.
Did we have any other topics on our like little list?
One thing I wanted to talk about was like romantics in books. Like I know we talk about sexuality in general, but like I want to learn more. I want to read more about romantics, like biromantic, heteromantic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's possible. Like you may be heteromantic, but you may be homosexual. Like I want more like complex things.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I want to read more about that too because I think it makes everything more interesting, like having those characters that are like that, because also like it's something that like not a lot of people, like especially like being straight or like even like maybe being like a part of the LGBT community that not everybody understands. And so I feel like we could get some like really good own voices, like books about that and about those topics. That would be amazing.
Yeah, because I know one of the things Adam Silvera was talking about, because I went to one of his book signings talking about the fact that he wanted to see diverse books from diverse authors. One thing that he specifically mentioned is like Carry On. That book's diverse. You have two wizards that are two gay wizards that I don't know why I just totally blinked. I apologize for that because I was just like flubbed. But yeah, two gay wizards, and that's great. But I mean, it's coming from an author who is like straight, so you want to see like a gay author write about gay wizards and be able to sort of break those boundaries a little bit. I think that it would be cool to get to have something like that.
Also like along the lines of sexualities, I also want to see more like demisexual, which is like a person that has no sexual like attraction unless they're in like a really deep committed relationship. And I feel like, you don't see that. Because I feel like that, I mean, sometimes people always come and question that and be like, well, isn't that like everybody? But it's not. It's not.
They're different things. So I would like to see that too, because you don't see that a lot.
I feel like especially like within like the LGBTQ, like just like that, like that group, like there's a lot of stuff that people outside of that don't understand. So I feel like these books would be like the best way to get these people who like maybe have like a skewed view of like whatever sexuality or gender identity. Like I feel like reading books from that character's perspective would get people to understand them more, and like maybe that would make like there be less hate in the world, because that would be awesome.
And also, Sarah from Sarah Night Owl mentioned this, and I think it's a good thing. Books with no romance. That's something I agree, which is one of the reasons why I love The Savage Song by Victoria Schwab. I think that book is so great because you just have the friendship between the two characters. I feel like you could always make the argument that there's something there, but I like the fact that it is specifically a friendship between a female and a male, and it's just kept at that. I think that's also really nice, the fact that it's a fantasy novel in a way that you have like monsters, you have humans, you have something that's a little bit out of the box. It's not just a contemporary story either. So I appreciated that.
Yeah. I also, another thing that me and Sarah were tweeting back and forth about was, like, I love it when main characters have multiple love interests, and it's not just this virgin main character who meets the first boy she sees, falls in love, and that's who it is for the rest of her entire life.
Yeah. Cough, cough, Akawar, cough.
I know. Yeah, like I know a lot of people like really like kind of criticize Throne of Glass for doing that, but I'm like, for me it was so natural because I'm like, the girl has different love interests, like she's having different boyfriends and breaking up with them. Like, that's more realistic to me.
It is.
I like that she had to go through multiple love interests
because that's realistic, because it's not always just love at first sight. Yeah, and because that's one of the things is you like reading books like that because you're able to find parts of yourself in it, and you're able to sort of find some realism in it because looking at real world society.
And I love that, like, as the character develops, then like just like how people develop, like their tastes change. Maybe their ideals don't mesh up with that person anymore, and that doesn't mean that like that person's a bad person. It just means that they're not meant for them.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a really good point.
That's also what I think a lot of people don't like about Throne of Glass, though, is that like they're like, I was so invested in this one relationship, and now she's in a different one.
Yeah,
I like, and so it becomes about that.
Dorian so much. She's pure and innocent, and I have accepted love interest, and like I accepted like she may not be with one guy forever, but like I just love Dorian so much.
Dorian is a sweet little cinnamon roll. I love him.
Yes, he is. I'm only on the third book, so he's pure and innocent. He's pure and innocent.
Yeah, I've read the series up to this point, besides Assassin's Blade, which I think is going to be the next thing that I read after I finish reading Watchmen. But because I'm in like a low-key reading slump right now, and it's kind of pissing me off.
Yeah, so am I, because I've been just like, I haven't had any motivation or will to read because I've been binge watching television shows instead of reading.
Akawar honestly like ruined me because I was like, there was like so much emotion with that book, and then since then just like there hasn't been that much emotion, and I'm just like dying. I attempted to read The Name of the Wind because everybody says that it's amazing, but like I got to like page like 238,
and it's so big. I want to read it eventually.
I don't even mind big books because like Akawar was like 700 pages, and like
but just if you're not,
it's just like it like I wanted to read it, and then like I got into it and I was like, this is too slow. Like there's a bunch of stuff that I'm like, this isn't necessary, and I want to finish it later because the writing is beautiful. I need time. Because
didn't Lin-Manuel Miranda sign on for the adaptation?
Really? What?
I think that he signed on. That's how I found out about the book a little bit. He signed on for an adaptation of it, maybe.
Oh, yeah, no, he did.
Oh my god, I'm reading this now. We're going.
Yeah, because I wanted to read it, but I haven't gotten a chance to pick it up, like having the 9 million other books that I need to read and being super...
Yeah, that's why
book slump hasn't helped.
Because Reagan from Prue's Project. It's about that book all the time, and so like I wanted to pick it up because of her, and then I found out that Lin-Manuel Miranda was going to be involved in the like adaptation, and I was like, okay, now I have to read it. And like it is really good. It's just like it's a lot, like it's high fantasy.
This is a little off topic, but like have you guys heard about like the 3 more books in Shatter Me?
Oh yes.
I don't know how I feel about it, but I also kind of want it. It's been a while since I've read it.
You know.
And you think if an author's able to do that, they're able to expand on it and be able to do it well. I think it'll be good. And especially coming from an author who's diverse herself, I think that's a great thing to see her doing more.
I love her book.
I love Tahira Mafi's writing style. Like,
yes. I loved her book.
I still need to read Furthermore because I want to read it.
That was
before
book.
Comes out.
It was so good. Furthermore, like it was like very, even though like middle grade, me and my sister read it because my sister's 10. But like we both read it because I loved her. I love her so much, and like it was a really good book. Like it was kind of like it was very whimsical. Like it was.
Yeah, I heard it was like Alice in Wonderland-esque.
was good.
Yeah. Because I know she's releasing Witchwood, which is like a Persian girl who washes bodies, and that sounds just like really interesting and really dark.
Companion novel to
it. So I'm like, so that's interesting, and I think that it's cool that being able to do something like that, even though it's supposed to be middle grade, like being able to
covers are everything.
Gorgeous,
right? Their child, they had a child. Her and had a child.
And some Riggs. That made me so happy. I'm so happy for them.
But Tara, she's so beautiful, and like, can we just talk about her eyeliner for a second? Like how sharp it is and how much she
she is everything. Also, like, when are we getting the Shatter Me TV show? Because
they've been working on that for a while.
It's been years.
And I know Class 2 was supposed to get an adaptation on Hulu, and then I don't know what happened there.
The selection series was supposed to get an adaptation, but like it only aired like 2 episodes, and now it's trash. So
the Illuminae files, I think, was supposed to have something like, I think Brad Pitt picked it up, and then nothing ever happened there.
Ooh,
a lot of things never happened.
Those would be such good movies.
I really need to read that series. I have the first book.
I own Gemina, and I just haven't read it yet. I bought it in like January.
I got the Arc of Gemina when I was at BookCon in 2016, and I like waited about like a few weeks before the book came out to read it. But it's really good. I like it because, I mean, in a way, it's just like a little bit different with like the mixed media and everything. But
yeah, I loved Illuminae because like there were so many like layers as far as like story wise to that book. Where like I got to the end of it and I was just like, what?
And Obsidio's coming out next year. It was supposed to come out this year, and then it got pushed back, which is fine because I want to read a book that'll be good and not a book that's rushed. But what was I going to say there? But I want to get all 3 of the audiobooks and then do like a reread of them because I've heard the audiobooks are phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
So I want to listen to all 3 of the audiobooks and read along.
Because I haven't read Ari and Dante yet, and I want
I read that. I read that, and I love the audiobook. I know that that's a diverse book, but it's a lot of people are very like love-hate on it. Either you like it or you hate it. But I listened to the audiobook for it, and it was really long. Like, I don't own the physical book because I got the audiobook, and it's like 100 chapters or something. And it took me a while to get through, but Lin-Manuel Miranda as a narrator, I think, made it so much more compelling to read, and I enjoyed it a lot more because of the narration. So I think
I got
Ari and Dante, read the audiobook.
I only got it because, like, she, what's it called? Because she wanted to hear Lin-Manuel Miranda talk on a book.
Honestly, me. Like, that's why
I wanted to read that's why I went and did it, is I found out he was audiobook narrator, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm reading this now, and so I did, and I think I enjoyed it because not only, you know, with the diversity and everything, but there's Alexander Hamilton references in there, which I appreciated because obviously that wasn't intentional at all because he's not the author. So that was great. But yeah, there's so many things about that book that I enjoyed, even though I know that a lot of people really didn't like it. I think listening to the audiobook really helped me.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like I've heard that too, that like a lot of people, like, it changed their lives and it's like one of their favorite books. But then there's also like some people who are just like, I didn't get it.
Yeah, and I know that the author released another book relatively recently that a lot of people have been raving about.
I've heard about that. I heard that that's amazing too.
So, there's gonna be like a sequel to. It's supposed to be a sequel to Aristotle and Dante, I think.
Oh, is it?
Is it?
Yeah, my friend isn't it like the names or something like that? It has names in it. That's all I know.
1 second, let me see if I can find it.
It's like my friend, like, she loved Aristotle and Dante, and like she loved the audiobook, and like so she was like talking about how there's supposed to be a sequel. I'm gonna text her right now to see. Like, I don't think it's like official, but like it was just some talk.
Oh, it's called The Inexplicable Logic of My Life, isn't it?
Oh, that's the no,
that's the one they just released. But I don't know if there's a sequel, Ari and Dante, coming out that has released. But that's the one that he just released that I was talking about that I know that is really good. 1 second. I'm finding the book via the Goodreads, but I know that him as an author, like being somebody who's, you know, of a different ethnicity, that's own voices, that I appreciated reading that.
Yeah.
That edited the story.
Like, there was talk of him gonna be writing one. it hasn't been made yet. Like, it was just talk that he was gonna be writing one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because that's probably what I figured is that, I mean, with books like that, I feel like it's hard to write a sequel already when so many people are kind of...
But it's, she said, my friend said it was like Summers. That's the name of it or something like that. I mean, like, if we probably look into it more, we can probably find something. But
yeah.
I feel like there's another book by the same author who I saw a booktuber recently like raving about. I don't remember if it was like just released or if it was one of his older books before Ariane Dante. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So I know this is something else. I had somebody who asked me this question before we started the live show, sent in a question beforehand. And that's Nellie from District 12 on Instagram. She followed me recently, and we've been talking a little bit. But talking not just specifically about books, but talking about musicals too, helping with the diversity problems or not, because so many people in the book community have gotten into Hamilton recently. That's something so many of us are into. I feel like the book community and Hamilton have just merged together so nicely.
Yes.
And I think, those are two because they're both diverse for their own aspects, whereas Hamilton is more with the cast and dealing with like ethnicities, also, you know, sexuality in terms of the fact like Javier Munoz, who is the Hamilton in NYC at the moment, is HIV positive, and he's in LGBTQ plus.
Javier?
Yeah, Javier.
Oh, okay. Oh, I did not know that. Interesting.
So I appreciated that, and like seeing that, and you know, knowing like other people in the cast too that like fit into that spectrum. I think that's nice. Also, like dealing with the fact you have all the performers who are people of different ethnicities. For the most part.
Yeah. Honestly.
Hamilton,
and then and I think that's helped the diversity problems a lot, because when you have shows like that are encouraging those types of things, and Lin-Manuel Miranda himself, who's a huge activist. For all of that, I think it's awesome.
I think the one thing that pisses me off about Hamilton, and it's not even about the play, because the play is perfect. It's about the people. It's about like how media picked up the play as like,
oh yeah,
the first hip hop musical that has ever been made. When like
the diversity,
when like in the Heights, like they were rapping too, but they were Latinos, so it wasn't revolutionary.
Yeah.
Because they're playing white guys and they're rapping.
Yeah.
Like, that's why it's revolutionary. That pissed me off. I remember.
Yes.
Yeah.
But, Hamilton is amazing. Like, especially like if you're talking about the storyline, and like the thing that annoys me the most is like the lambs thing, like how people have found letters from Alexander Hamilton to John Lawrence about how like my deepest love, I'm sorry, something like that, whatever.
Yeah,
and, like,
they were very close. They were best friends, but there are people that ship that in a way. I sort of see it because I read Alexander Hamilton by Ren Chernow. You can see it on my bookshelf in the back. I read that over my spring break, and I really enjoyed that. And it's something that Ron Chernow got into a little bit in touch with because of the way that they wrote, like whether that was just because they were so close or because there was actually maybe something there because Alexander Hamilton himself was such a huge flirt. I mean, that's like, not, but I think that's interesting, and that comes to mind. But I think that, it definitely helps.
I found what the sequel for Ariane Dante is going to be. It's There Will Be Other Summers.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm excited to maybe we'll read that.
Yes, that should be.
That'd be dope. I don't know when it's coming out though. Probably like 2018 or something.
Yeah, honestly though. Like 2019, 25 million years from now. Like I don't think you even started writing it yet.
Okay.
Let's be real.
And I think that was Sarah Nidal that tweeted that at you. So thank you so much, Sarah, for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
We only have time. Any like last minute topics we should talk about? We have 10 minutes left.
Yeah, any last minute questions and stuff because we have about 10 minutes left until we wrap up. So if you want to send in last minute questions or any last minute things that you want us to talk about, and then
one thing I just remembered, like I was looking at our list real quick. I put down Percy Jackson series. I know that they have like a lot of diversity, and then Six of Crows, like kind of.
Yeah, Six of Crows. I love Six of Crows.
I love both series. Like, but in the Magnus Chase series, they have like he's like there's a non-binary character like, and then Apollo is bisexual and Apollo.
Bisexual.
Yeah.
So excited. Anything else? Oh, disabled people like deaf, mute, poly. What's that? I want to say polyethnic. I don't know how to say it, but like people in wheelchairs. Like, we really need to talk about that a little more. Like, we need to bring like deaf people, blind people. Like,
because there's a book that just came out. I forgot what it's called, but I know that a lot of people have been reading it relatively recently. That has a deaf main character, and she uses like graffiti and things like that. Really interesting. I wanted to read that. Let me see if I can find it because I know Emma from Emma Books read it recently and was raving about it. So I'm gonna go to the Goodreads and try to find it. But books like that I think are really important because I actually myself have a little bit of hearing loss. Okay. It's like low decibel. So basically, like, if I'm sitting in my room and there's, like, someone mowing the lawn, like, outside my window and they're, like, more towards the end of my lawn, or maybe there's, like, an airplane or things going by, I really can't hear, like, those low-frequency noises, so things like background noises that a lot of people can normally hear that they would find frustrating. So I really would want to read a book like that that has characters maybe with hearing loss or that have characters with that type of hearing disability because, like, you're able to find a little bit of yourself in that, and I feel like you don't really see it a lot because it's an unfortunate handicap to have.
Yeah, but two things real quick. Two places. I know me before you. Like, I think they did a really good job with like representing that. I don't know how to say it, but it starts with the P. Wheelchair. Paraplegic. There we go. I thought they were really good with that. And then
me before you, yeah.
And then, like, the movie was okay, but, like, the book was really, really good. It was really sad.
Yeah, because I feel like the movie, I enjoyed it because it, as a whole, I mean, was there, but I would have liked to have seen more of Louise's backstory. Mm-hmm. Like, with the whole castle and, like, the maze and the things with fear that she has there. But.
And then back to Deaf. This is not a book, but Switched at Birth. Like, that, I thought that.
Oh, that show.
Switched at Birth is great.
Like, I'm, like, only on season 2, but, like, that really got me into sign language because I would love to be, like, I only really know the alphabet, but, like, I would love to get, I actually am taking sign language in high school because apparently they offered it, and I'm so excited for that. But, like, Switched at Birth, like, has really, like, gotten me into, like this whole other community that's out there.
Yeah, and I think that that's great. Okay, so I have one question from Sarah Night Owl that she wants me to answer, and that's to describe Queens of Geek using a song. Okay, I'm trying to think because I feel like there's some music that maybe like in parts of the book, like oh god, because like all I listened to was Broadway recently. So I'm trying to think like I don't want to use Broadway songs, and so I'm like I need to think of something of a song that would describe. I'm trying to think. Well, it takes place at a convention. You have city. I feel like, in a way, I've used this for everything because I feel like it's just such a good answer. But You Will Be Found from Dear Evan Hansen. Yeah, that's like my go-to song because I feel like, in a way, Taylor, who's one of the characters, ends up being found. Like, she finds herself a little bit, and she goes through a lot of development and a lot of breakthrough and things like that. And, like, getting to see sort of, like, the end results, that getting to see her be found in a way and being more comfortable with herself and breaking out of her shell a little bit. Mm-hmm. Some of the things that she goes through, I feel like that's just the first one that comes to mind. I would want to think of other things, but I mean, like that song, I think I'm talking about it with other books. I feel like it's just always one that comes to mind because the musical itself is so revolutionary and
I agree.
Deals with, so that was like, a good one.
Do you have an like
it's a great song.
Wise and like sexuality wise, but like mental health wise, and like he deals with bad social anxiety and like.
Also, it sort of deals with like the layers of characters because Jared Kleiman, who was one of the characters in that musical, oh my gosh, I love him as a character so much because not only is he just like he's a little bit of a jerk and you're not necessarily supposed to love him, but Will Rowland, who's one of the actors in the show who plays him, is phenomenal. But I think the great thing about Jared is that since I got to see the show and then like I got the libretto, it's sitting on my shelf. You can see it a little bit there. It's like that big blue thing on the second row of my bookshelf. But
oh my god,
some of the things like that he says that he has all of these layers and things. That's something I talk about in my review of the show. That Jared as a character has lots of layers and then he has a lot of insecurities and that he acts like he has all these friends and like he's really popular and big and macho, but you know, Evan sort of uncovers a lot of those things, sort of finds out that he doesn't have as many friends as Jared would like everyone to believe, and seeing some of the insecurities there that come with that, and the fact that in a way all of us are like Evan, although we may not entirely way as him, but we all I think in a way feel that way, because Alana too, the way that we deal with it are all very different, but we all go through the same thing. Yeah, I feel like everyone loves Lana, and a part of me,
my roommate basically memorized the entire dance to Sincerely Me.
I love Sincerely Me. It's my favorite number in the entire show because it's just so good. And it's such a jam, but it's also really brilliant in the things that it deals with, because it's that whole time where Connor as a character gets completely reinvented, and so you have a lot of commentary that goes into that.
I also love, I will sing Requiem, right? That's the name?
Requiem, yeah.
Oh my God, that's so sad, but so good.
Yeah, because I think also dealing with, Zoe is a character, her going through, like, losing her brother, and how, you know, her brother was this person that she never really got to really fully knew, and then now seeing this whole different version of him and all of that.
She's like, I don't believe this, like, I refuse to think, I refuse to, like, warn him, like, I didn't really know him, so, like, I don't really see the point of...
Yeah, but then seeing how that changes in a way is then throughout the musical, how she starts to, you know, come with Evan, she starts to sort of find this in her brother, and that in a way those letters, as, you know, horrible as they are, and the moral gray areas within the entire situation, that they did help the Murphys, and it did bring their family back together in a way, which I think is so interesting, and there's so much commentary in there, and it's something that both teenagers and adults can get something out of, because there are so many wonderful adult roles in that show, and that a lot of parents can find something in it, understand what it's like to raise a teenager, some of the things that teenagers go through, and I think it's just like such a beautiful thing, and I'm so happy that it won all the Tony Awards.
Yay!
And because it deserved it. Like watching Ben Platt going in and accepting that Tony Award, I saw. Yeah, he's just like, and his entire speech was beautiful.
Yeah.
Should we start wrapping things up?
Yeah. Okay. One last question.
Yeah, I was about to say, I saw it.
Any books you would suggest with Asian characters?
Dear Lara Jean.
Dear Lara Jean is a good one.
She's Korean. But she's like, the series is like, she's like half Korean, half white, but I didn't like the series that much because I'm not into like cute, cheesy contemporary, but like if you're into cute, cheesy contemporary, I'd highly recommend the series, like that a little more, but like she's a diverse character, and like it's a cheesy series, but that's the character I recommend.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of other Asian characters, because I feel like you don't really see it that much, which is a shame, because you should see more of that.
I'm thinking there's a lot of books that I know that because I can't think of any books that I've read recently.
I just got
that had Asian characters in it. But I know that there's a lot that are like based on Asian folklore, and I'm pretty sure that they include Asian characters. There's a series that I read when I was younger that has Asian characters in it. And let me look on my Goodreads.
One that I found just now, and I'm not sure how much this works, but I would recommend it. The Reader by Tracy Chee. I have this book on my shelf, but I think the character in herself has some Asian ties, but I mean it's not contemporary either, so it's sort of like the reminiscent, but the author herself is Asian, so it is in a way like an Own Voices novel, and I haven't gotten a chance to read it, but I got to pick it up in October, and I actually got to meet Tracy, and she signed it. And her handwriting is gorgeous, by the way, like looking at that.
But I just had a book in the book boyfriend box.
Here we go. It's the Five Ancestors series. I read it when I was in like elementary school because it's a middle grade, but that's really good. It's like a fantasy kind of like very Asian inspired. All the characters are Asian. On like the cover they have like
that's awesome.
Like the pictures of the people. But it's good. It's also kind of like, I forget what it's about. I forget if it's like they just embody the powers of certain animals or if they actually shapeshift. I might have to reread it, but it's like a really, really dope like fantasy adventure series.
Yeah.
I know Flame in the Mist. I think she's like, it's a Mulan retelling. I'm pretty sure she's like,
I think it has aspects of Mulan in it. I'm not sure if it's a retelling, because I know that there's people who are kind of like some discrepancies there as to whether it was a retelling or not, because there's aspects of it, but it may have not officially been.
It's actually the book that my phone is listening on, but Eon is also supposed to be kind of a Mulan retelling.
Yeah.
There's another book. I just got it from my my book boyfriend, and it was like a cheesy contemporary. I'm gonna go look around my room and try to find it real quick. But like, I'm pretty sure the character's half Chinese.
There. But yeah, I think those are some pretty good recommendations. I hope that you're able to find one that you haven't read or one that you seem interested in. But
also, just random character, not a main character in a book, but Cho Chang, Harry Potter. Just saying.
Oh yeah, I mean that.
Yes. Why does she have so much hate? Cho, her. I'm not gonna say anything, but like Cho does not deserve the hate.
Right. Like, she may have not been my favorite character in the entire world, but I like the fact that she's a Ravenclaw, because I mean, I like seeing a little bit of the different representation from each of the houses in the books and not feeling like one house gets entirely shoved to the side. Also starred by Nicola Yoon. That's another good one. I totally blanked on that. I just read that recently, though, but The Sun is Also a Star is great.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good. I love the diversity in the everything.
That book.
The book I was talking about is, I believe in a thing called Love. I was talking about was, I believe, in a thing called Love, and it's she's half Korean. I'm pretty sure. I think 99.9% sure. But everything. I love the mixed race relationship.
Yeah, and also The Sun is Also a Star, like the different like races there, and I also love the point of view of that. Nicola Yoon as an author, I think, is awesome because her books are really diverse, and she also does a lot of just really unique things, like with her writing. Like, one of the things I like about The Sun is Also a Star is that the way that it's written is that you get a whole bunch of perspectives from characters that you wouldn't typically think I include as a part of the story. If you guys have read the book, you probably know what I'm talking about, but I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah.
But I think that about...
But I can't think so.
Yeah, so I think that about wraps it up from there. So thank you guys all so much for watching and sticking with us through all the technical difficulties and everything. And make sure you stay tuned for updates for our July book. We're reading Tosh Hurt's Tolstoy. And you can follow our Instagram. I'll have that linked down below, and just whatever other links I said I was going to include throughout the live show. I'll go and put those in a few minutes so that if you're rewatching or coming back, you can get access to all of that. But I really hope that you'll join us, and we'll have more announcements for when our live show is going to be. But thank you guys all so much for watching. I'm Gabby from Gabby YA Books. You guys can
I'm Emily from The Nerdiest Bookworm. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks.
Bye.
So bye, guys. Thank you so much for watching.